I'm gonna be honest, I'm conflicted. I honestly do not know how I'm emotionally handling this change to the 20% change. Mentally, this is confusing to me. I feel like we've taken a step back for the PvP Dark Zone experience. I want to explain my details to this 20% change in damage. Could be a mental thing, I could just be on tilt like crazy. I just may have evolved into Super Salty Saiyan. Not sure. But I want to talk about what I have experienced playing solo, playing with a couple people, and playing with full party, because the experiences have greatly differed with this 20% change. What's going on there, guys? How you doing? My name is Pone. Welcome to my channel. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Division content. So, the obvious changes were the 20% change to the overall damage and PvP. With this, it was supposed to be the answer to toughness. People were too strong, too tanky, and it was just overwhelming for a lot of people, especially on console. I'm going to go ahead and hit the rewind button real quick. We're going to go back to 1.3 launch. Just keep this in mind. So we got the introduction to all these new weapons, of course, higher scaling boosts in stats because 268s and 229s came out. So now all of a sudden we can hit harder, we can all become a little tankier, and it kinda started to level out. Tacticians fell off pretty hard with the introduction of the Firecrest 3-piece. Of course, Sentries is a great counter to Tacticians in the first place, and you also have things like Alpha Bridge in the mix. And with all of these opportunities, I felt that over the last couple weeks before this 20% change came in, the whole Tactician plague had been eradicated. I have no longer felt that, oh damn, this fight goes on forever because somebody's really tanky. The main reason for fights to go on for long periods of time is not a situation with tankiness or toughness. That comes down to triage. People have learned how to shoot it on the ground and chain it one after another, keep those overdoses up, and that is what is the problem right now, not the toughness. So to me, the whole tank issue kind of solved itself, and there was honestly no need to change and add this 20% buff to PvP. I felt like it was completely unnecessary, but you guys can leave your opinions down in the comment section below. There are some good parts about this that I like. I really like 1v1ing with this extra damage out there. It's a lot of fun, and not like you couldn't do it before, but it's definitely made it a little bit more enjoyable. This overall does hurt the casual player though. It's a lot harder to solo and duo now. I feel like it's almost necessary to run with 4 people, or there's a very good chance you're going to get punished. The major area that you feel this change is when you're being outnumbered. So in a 1v2, you're doing 20% more damage to one of those targets, but both of them are doing 20% more damage to you. You're going to start feeling the sting of this a lot more when you're outnumbered. And it's not restricted to just 1v2s. Even in a 3v4, there's technically going to be pairs. So 1 versus 1, 1 versus 1, and then there's going to be a guy fighting 2 at one time, taking damage from 2 different sources. And this guy is eventually going to get picked off, leaving it a 2v4. So things start to decline. It's a lot harder to dig yourself out of a hole now and survive when multiple people are shooting at you. There's just a very small window to heal and sustain and stay alive now. Another major change that I saw is hip firing is a must now. Aiming down sight is suicide at this point. Not that it was really a smart thing to do before in the 1.3 meta, you weren't punished as much for it. When you aim down sight, you generally slow your movement speed, and it makes you really easy to path. You're not moving very fast, so it's very easy to chain headshots against a target that's aiming down sight. Doing this is a no-no right now. You are committing the biggest of sins, and you are done for by choosing to take this act. And I don't like that change overall just because it's a major part of the game, and being punished so hard for trying to be more accurate is a little silly in my opinion, but either way, it's not like hip firing is terrible. As an alternative, you can still do a lot of damage and be very confident with it either way. Again, this is a change I'm neutral about. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm a little torn because I like knowing that you could aim down sight if you wanted to, but it's just a risky thing to do now. So if you followed me so far, 1v1s are a blast, team fighting is still a blast, not too much has changed. I don't like it as much, but I'm not saying this was a bad thing overall. There's honestly one negative thing to come from this. And the one negative thing is the fact that shock turrets are back and they are worse than ever. That is the last thing that I ever wanted to say. That just pains me to even announce, is because I know how annoying they are. And now, like I said, everybody being so much stronger, getting stuck in place is guaranteed death. Occasionally, you would be able to survive those. Actually, I'd say consistently survive them. I never survive shock turrets anymore. When I get zapped and there is at least one guy looking at you, it is over. You are rooted in place. Every one of those zaps comes free with a complimentary coffin. My major issue with shock turrets is because they're skillless. You don't need any talent or skill. Your build doesn't matter. So when you get zapped by a shock turret and you killed somebody standing still, to me that's, wow, you shot a lamp. You know, it's like he wasn't able to defend himself. It's not about talent or skill or who's better. It's just like, cool, you killed a guy that couldn't fight back. You're a tough guy, aren't you? This is honestly going to hurt the meta, and the more people find out about how strong this is, the more it's going to be used, and it's going to need to be fixed ASAP because it is just throttling me. I am just getting so upset at it. But that aside, like I said, I've struggled with this change. I'm not going to lie. I've won my 1v4s. 1v2s are a lot harder, and I'm welcoming the change because anything that makes the game more refreshing, I'm all for. But it's definitely a lot more dangerous in the Dark Zone against other people, and of course NPCs, because they're ridiculously strong too. And I openly accept these changes. You're going to have to learn to adapt to them, and I like that overall. I just hope to see that when the dust settles and this has been fully digested, that the people are okay with it. I do not like the idea that the casual players and some of the solo and duo players are kind of being alienated even further than they are now. There are not enough ways to play the game and enjoy it with limited amounts of people, and this just kind of hurt the one thing that you could do solo if you were skilled enough, and that was play PvP. It's just a lot harder now. So I personally don't like the changes, but I also don't think they're necessarily bad, with the exception of the shock turret, which is terrible. So I'm just going to have to adjust, suck it up, buck up, and get in there and learn how to play and adjust my play style accordingly. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, stay tuned, lots more Division content in the pipeline. I'll keep you up to date on all future changes. Take care, guys.